Next, Landfill Recycling Committee proposed adoption of amendment to Chapter 66, authorizing the council to adopt regulations for a pay-as-you-throw program. We have a memorandum from council.
Mr. President, while I set up a PowerPoint presentation, I'd ask that we pass around an outline of what I'm going to be presenting on the screen. And there are also some copies available for the public if you want to come up to the front desk. Basically, it's an outline of what's going to be presented here.
President, do you want me to address my memo while he's setting up?
Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
You and I sometimes will receive a fairly large packet of information that pays as well. And upon reviewing it, I didn't actually see an ordinance in there. So what I had drafted at the time, what was advertised, is what you've got, the council has in blue there, which is just a short ordinance amendment to allow for adoption of regulations for pay-as-you-throw. And I've allowed the flexibility there that it would could be charged for non-recyclable waste placed for curbside collection or brought to the landfill. Must be contained within specialized bags or containers, and that indicates that an appropriate fee has been paid. And as I've indicated in the cover memo, what I, at least what, to the extent you're looking for me and my involvement on the regulations and what you want to do the next step, but even with the commission, I think you need to be hearing the proposal and making the decisions tonight as to, or at least input as to what models you're looking for implementation. But the actual ordinance before you is just to authorize those regulations, and then obviously those regulations would have to come back to you perhaps at the next meeting or sooner after.
We all set? Thank you. I have a little slide presentation basically summarizing and going along with the handout you have. The current picture is an aerial photograph taken prior to landfill operations. If you've been up to the landfill, or maybe if you're not, this is the entrance road coming from Main Road. In the past, just like 2 weeks ago, people used to come up to this area, drive up, and this whole area was the dumping grounds. I would say as of 2 weeks ago, this whole area has met its capacity, and it's at the licensed height and dimensions that we have. We've currently now moved over to an area in here where there's a deep hole, and we're starting to fill that particular area there. So it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on, but it just shows that the main area that has been licensed has reached capacity already, and we've moved over to the left side of the entrance road. Okay, a little background. Over the last 2 years, the Landfill Recycling Committee has been actively searching for a more responsible and fiscally responsible way to address rubbish collection, recycling, and landfill operations. And it's been pointed out in the past, we currently pay about $2 a week per household to have the rubbish picked up at your home and delivered to our landfill. We're the only town in the entire state that has an operating landfill other than the state landfill in Johnston. The workshop is to address a pay-as-you-throw program, which the landfill recycling committee has recommended. With this pay-as-you-throw program, it's been proven through EPA documentation, state documentation, that it does increase recycling, it does reduce the amount of waste buried in the landfill, and it's really to save money for the future debt that we're going to incur in about 5 years that we have to cap it. The recommendations of the landfill committee is to support the pay-as-you-throw program, and again, to increase recycling, reduce the amount of waste being buried, and to save for future debt. It was part of a comprehensive plan, a three-legged plan. The first one you paid, that you voted for, was to support the payment for recycling of mattresses, box springs, tires, and other such. The second leg of the comprehensive plan was the no bin, no barrel, which went into effect October 5th of this year. And this is the third leg, probably the most important leg. We've been using the landfill for over 50 years, and it's estimated by our consultant engineer to be full by January of 2015. That's 5 years from pretty close today. At that time, the estimate is to, capping costs is going to run between $6.8 and $8.2 million. We've made some strides in the last year. We've started a program where we recycle televisions. We also recycle computers and computer e-waste. We also recycle tires, box springs and mattresses, white goods, household wood waste, cardboard, scrap metal. So we've made considerable efforts to recycle just about everything we can so far, but yet I still don't believe everyone is recycling everything that they should be. The landfill closure restricted account, I think currently about $3.5 million in it. By January of 2015, the proposed closure date, we're going to be about $2.4 to $3.8 million short to pay for the closure. I came across that $4.4 million by taking the $3.5 million that we have in the account now, adding the $168,000 per year and a little bit of interest. So that's an educated guess as to how much we're going to have in 2015. The committee, over the last year or so, heavily debated how to come up and make up this shortfall. We looked at the solution of bonding. I put it very basic here that floating a $4 million bond for 20 years at 4%, we'll have to repay about $200,000 per year in principal, and at 4%, that equals $160,000 in interest yearly. I realize that $160,000 is in a declining balance as we move it along. That interest, like any mortgage, goes down, but for this purpose, the total payment the town would be responsible for, if we did float a bond, would be about $360,000 a year, and I really want to put out that interest rate. That irked everybody to see that money just going down the tube.